What's going on, guys? So we're going to be talking about some of the roster changes that are happening. Some of them confirmed, some of them more up in the air, more rumors, and whether or not it's going to be good, bad, what to expect, that kind of stuff. There's also some controversy with the EG roster. They want to re-sign, but it's going to be a huge pay cut, even though they just won. So that, a lot of people, a lot of fans were really mad about it. A lot of the players were really mad about it. So we're going to talk about that. There's also some controversy about game changer players not being able to play in VCT or get even tryouts for VCT because they're a woman. So we're going to be talking about all of this in this video. So I guess we'll start off with what's confirmed. So a bunch of tweets. Ignore how many tabs I have open. They're all relevant. So right away, Gen G, the complete roster is being remade. So that's confirmed. They're remaking around Meteor. And then, yeah, that's basically it. I don't really have much to say about this. I don't know them all too well, so I can't really chime in on this. All I know is, like, anytime you're going to remake a team around one person, it's like starting from fresh, right? Even if that one person is like really good or playing around that one person, it'll still be very hard. So next we have Fnatic, and this is just about the coach. Coach Mini is stepping down to pursue better work-life balance, which is understandable. So this is a very like taxing job, especially as a coach, because of how much studying you have to do. I feel like you have to do more studying than actual players. I understand why they would do that, for sure. All right, so then we have Cloud9. Cloud9 reaches an agreement with Vanity and Oxy. The organization will keep Jake and Zeppa. Still no word on Leaf. And this would be interesting. I would like to see this. I would like to see how this team would actually perform. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I can't watch their scrims or anything like that, so I have no really input on any of that. I am looking forward to seeing it. I love seeing new teams with new players kind of form, and then they kind of just like practice for a really long time, and some of them kind of come out of nowhere, right? I feel like that's what kind of happened with EG. EG just kind of came out of nowhere. They were kind of overlooked for a lot of the time, and they just started winning everything. And now, obviously, they won VCT, and they're a very good team. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Next up, we have FNS and Som on why they're leaving the Energy roster and their future plans.
No one believes us.
I know.
This is fucked. They're saying to tweet it, but what does tweeting it have to do with anything?
Okay, so after Champs ended, I genuinely was unhappy for multiple reasons, but I just wasn't happy like there anymore. So it was best for both parties for me to leave. And then Sam left like shortly after. And then Sam approached me to just like ask me what I'm doing, and I told him I don't know. And he said, all right, let's just stream. And I said, might as well give it a shot because we have such a long off season. And then, yeah, so here we are.
It's true. So FNS deciding to leave. I also...
Dude, these guys actually...
It's not cap, chat, I swear. We swear on everything. Voila. Voila.
Okay, so... All right, they're taking a step back from like competitive for right now while they focus on stream, and if an offer comes down their way, they might accept it depending on, who they're going to be playing with. So, it makes sense. It makes sense that they would want to kind of just chill. It's off season. They want to start streaming more. Me being on Energy, I don't know anything, right? So I literally just have what this video is telling me. I don't have any insider information on any of this stuff. So I feel like it's a good move to do, to be honest. I think more pro players should be doing this, where they're kind of creating their own brand. They're streaming, their YouTube side of things, because if pro playing, like, the competitive scene doesn't work out for them, they can fall back to that, right? They have sort of like a backup plan. And not only that, but the more traction you have, the more rosters will want to pick you up, right? If there's like a high demand for somebody and they're very, like, for example, Tarek, like if somebody, I'm sure rosters would want to pick him up just because it's Tarek, you know what I mean? And this is a good example of brand building, I think, that is like really good that more pro players should be doing. So, and then we have this tweet. FNS has announced that as of today, he's been released from NRG. He will not be completing next season to pursue streaming and content creation. Okay, so just dive into the content creation thing, which is, in my opinion, I think content creating is definitely a lot easier than competing, of course, and it's a lot more stable. So I do think this is good. This is good. Next up, we have Aspas. So Aspas's contract has ended with Loud, and he's exploring his options for 2024 season. This isn't really confirming that he's going to any other team, but just more that he's exploring the options. And I'm curious to see where he ends up, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people wanting it. I'm not sure like the salary that Loud has or anything like that, but usually when players explore their options, they usually get a better deal. They have competing prices, and then the main team doesn't really want to meet the price, the salary, because they can't afford it, especially considering, you know, if they had such a lower one before, and then another org who might be better off, I'm not sure, would offer a much higher salary, right? Just to build around Aspas. So 100 Thieves they're saying goodbye to Derek, which to me, I thought it was kind of surprising. I don't know why. This is obviously, you know, it's hard to say without knowing exactly why. Maybe they got picked up, or maybe they have other ideas, or what the reason is for it. For me, I think Derek's a really good player. So that kind of caught me off guard, but maybe there's other ideas for them. So, and same goes with Stellar. Stellar was another one for 100 Thieves. So I guess they're picking up 2 more. It's very unfortunate to see. I'm sure they're going to end up on a really good team. They're both, you know, very good. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm curious to see what they have planned, or what their ideas are, or why they wanted to leave. I'm assuming eventually we're going to see that. Okay, so we also got Sentinels, and they have announced that they signed Jollz.
City, got some news for you. Zaddy's back. As a sub, of course.
Of course. The little wink, right? So I guess he's the backup, which is great. You know, Jollz is really good, very good. I'm surprised he's not playing on the main roster, or maybe they have plans to do. I don't know. I have no idea. But very good player, very good player. I would love to see him, you know, playing some of the games as well. That'd be sick. So this is gonna be an interesting one. This is Team Heretics, and Team Heretics, they are looking to sign a player, but the player is 17 years old. And they're looking to find a replacement until this player turns 18. So this player is just unbelievably cracked. I don't know much about the team, but, you know, to know that your spot is going to get filled within a year, a lot of players would probably take something like that just for the experience. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Excited to see. Okay, so we had Enzo, which reaches an agreement with Team Liquid. So Enzo looking to sign to Liquid. Not entirely sure who that replaces, but should be exciting, spicing up the roster a little bit. All right, so another one too. We got Sentinels, who signed their new IGL, so John QT. You know, that's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see where Sentinels is at, right? Like, I'd like to see them kind of like come back maybe. I feel like it's not that they fell off, but I feel like they just weren't as consistent as they used to be. So I'd love to see more of that, and maybe like bringing up that consistency and really just performing as well as they used to. Okay, so going back to Aspas. So Aspas has reportedly received a big offer from Leviathan, and, you know, not surprised. I'm really not surprised by this. Very good player. It was kind of to be expected that they would have like an insane offer for players like these. So yeah, excited to see where he actually ends up. Okay, and then we also have a tweet that kind of confirms that there's a verbal agreement, which is going to be interesting. A verbal agreement. This is, I mean, we're looking, this is probably what's going to happen. And I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see this team play well. I know that they've been really good. And there's been a lot of times where I'm like, oh shit, like, you know, are they, I thought that they were like, they're beating a lot of really good teams. And I thought they were coming into a lot of the VCT as like an underdog. And then they just kind of started winning a lot of stuff, winning against a lot of big teams. So I'm excited to see this new season, exactly how it's going to pan out. Okay, so there's also this tweet about a database update, and Les is no longer on Loud anymore. I thought Les was really good. Not sure exactly where Les is heading to, or what's happening with that. For me, I thought Les was a really good player. So yeah, interesting to see exactly where this is heading. We also have one for Sadak, also leaving Loud. It's going to be an entirely new roster, what feels like. It's almost like not even the same team. Who knows? Who knows how this is going to actually impact Loud? Probably not good starting off, rekindling that flame with a new players, new team, and, you know, new atmosphere, everything. They have to get used to each other all over again. So another one, 2East has been removed from the Valorant roster as well. Again, this is all like starting from scratch. Maybe they're dipping out of Valorant. I'm not sure exactly what's happening with Loud, or why they're doing some of this. Maybe the contracts were too low and these players can find better ones on other orgs. I have no clue. So I guess interesting and excited to see where these players end up going, and who the new ones are coming in, or if they're going to continue their spot or not. So This one was kind of interesting. So Artis is back, and he, I guess, is in verbal agreement with Navi. So I wasn't expecting this. Again, like I told you, even though I'm part of NRG, I don't know any of these moves, you know? So interesting to see exactly, you know, how NRG is going to be now without, you know, these 3 players, you know, rebuilding and whatnot, and bringing in these new players are probably going to be, it'll be interesting to see regardless. Okay, so this was a very interesting statement that I've been seeing. I've been seeing a lot of, you know, tweets about this. A lot of people are even, you know, defending Mel in this case, which good, as you should, right? So apparently, according to Slasher, a female Valorant Pro player is being turned away by Tier 1 VCT team trials due to male players not wanting to play with women. Yeah, so this is pretty messed up, right? And it's really, really bad for the scene. It's a really bad look from the players. It's just not good. It's really, really not good. I think just the fact that you're not going to be playing with someone just because they're a woman, you know, that's very sexist. That's just bottom line what it comes down to. It's just sexist for the sole reason of them being a woman. It's crazy, right? If they have the skills to play at that caliber, why not give them a chance? Why not play with them, right? Because you have men on certain rosters that are not comfortable or insecure or whatever it might be that they don't want to play with a woman. I think that's weird. I think that's weird, and I don't stand by that at all. I really think that they should be, you know, called out for these kind of behaviors, you know, like you can't just say these behind closed doors. You cut off ties or opportunities for these, you know, women creators trying to break that, or women players, sorry, to break that barrier and kind of stay anonymous about that. I think that's kind of messed up. It's very messed up. That definitely needs to be like kind of fixed. There needs to be a more standard about women wanting to trial with their players. Especially like if they're very good, right? And they mesh well and, you know, they bring a lot to the team. Like, why not give them that opportunity? I would love to see that. I would love to see that. And I really hope in the future that does happen. Yeah, it just sucks. It sucks that this is the state of a lot of, or not a lot, but even if it is a minority case, right? It just shouldn't be the case at all. I'm not saying all pro players think this way, but for the ones that do, right, that's not good. That should be adjusted. It should be fixed. They should be called out and face responsibilities for this kind of view, right? Especially if it's like gatekeeping, such a sexist like idea or ideal. So yeah, and I've tweeted out before too, really defending this point. I used some poor choice of words. I just didn't use the best words. But the intent was there, and everyone understood that. Well, that's what matters. But I think more people should be speaking out about this, right? Pro players, content creators, everyone in the scene, everyone affected by the scene should speak out on this, because the more eyes that you bring onto it, maybe that's how we fix, you know, certain or readjust people's views and just be like, okay, maybe the pro player was like, okay, a lot of people are saying this. Maybe I'm wrong, you know, maybe I should give them a chance, right? And maybe they changed, right? So that's the kind of goal with something like this. I would never say it should be ever looked at as more of like a witch hunting angle, but just more of like a, hey, listen, you know, you fucked up, right? And then it's like, you should fix that, fix your line of thinking, you know, better yourself, or face responsibilities for neglecting or rejecting, I should say, female pro players, specifically because of, you know, their gender and whatnot. So yeah. Okay, so last thing I wanted to talk about was the EG roster. So the EG roster, right, as you guys know, they won VCT, and they were signed at a certain salary, and after winning, to get re-signed, they decreased the budget, right? They decreased the player salary based off of that. A lot of players were very mad about that. A lot of fans were really mad about that. They just won a tournament and all that kind of stuff. So the reason something like this is really, you know, iffy and why it's so hard is because when they probably got signed, and a lot of orgs did this, when a lot of players got signed, it was during the COVID bubble when they had a lot of viewership, they had a lot more, I guess, return or something like that, and now they are not getting any return at all from these players. So I think a lot of orgs do that wrong. A lot of orgs, for some reason, they sign players with an insane salary and they get no return from them, and I always wondered, how do they make money? And the real thing is they don't make like much money if they're not utilizing their pro players. They're not building a brand around their players. They're not using them in content. They're not getting value back in return from these signings. It's like, oh, they might come in like 4th place in a tournament, but what if they don't? And even when they do come in 4th place, the org doesn't even take that much, I don't believe. So they're not really making that much profit from tournaments, winnings or anything like that. Sure, sponsorships coming in and whatnot, and they're playing and they get a lot of eyes and whatnot, but I think that they should be utilizing their pro players a lot better. Maybe it needs to be contracted in if they want to have that kind of salary, right, to keep up. So I understand the org's point of view and why the budget cuts. It does suck right after they're winning a tournament, though. So I definitely understand where the players are coming from as well, and why everyone's very upset about them. It's pretty fucked up. So it's really hard to say without looking at the numbers and seeing what exactly is going on, or they're trying to be scummy and like lower the cost. It's so hard to say. I can't really. I'm just kind of seeing both perspectives and why it would come to a conclusion like this. And obviously, all of the players are very mad about this. Understandably so. Understandably so. They just won. They did so well. They vibed. They clicked well, you know. And it kind of sucks like seeing great players like these, especially after winning so well, not being able to play again and not being on the same team again and not competing again, right? Under the same org or anything like that. It sucks, right? It does suck, because I would love to see exactly, you know, how well they're going to continue on the next season, right? Like, you know, and, you know, people can start building fans or building more of an audience, you know, based off of that. And like people can, you know, people know EG, right? Everyone knows EG, right? If they play again, they're like, oh, I love EG, you know, they cooked, right? Like last VCT, you know, they won and I was super hyped about it. And now I'm rooting for them this season, right? So yeah, it's tough. It's tough to see. And I know like a lot of the players are very upset about it, and it sucks. It very much does suck. So I really hope that they do find a good place. They're all very talented. Talked to a lot of them, and they're cool. Really cool people. Really great at the game. It sucks that it came to this. I hope that they do find, maybe they can find a place that they can all play together. I don't think though that would be the case. Or if they don't, I hope they find good teams and whatnot, and they can, you know, still continue to play. So yeah, anyways, this was kind of like my little wrap up for roster changes, rumored, confirmed, all that kind of stuff, my thoughts on it. I might have not given the best, but I'm just kind of letting you guys know, so you guys know about like some of the stuff that's going on. I know you've seen a lot of tweets and stuff, but I kind of wanted to make a video talking about all of the stuff that I heard, and, you know, wanted to also touch on the game changer players, Mel specifically, and then also EG roster and that kind of stuff. So if you guys like this type of video, let me know in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe down below. It does help a ton. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And if you guys like this kind of stuff, I'll probably do a lot more. So yeah, peace.